It's December 30th. It's 9 p.m. in Southern California. And we're going to kick the show off, guys. We got a bunch of stuff going on in Iran. We got protests. We got all kinds of things happening, and we want to talk about it. And I want to talk to you guys about it. If you're not aware of it, I want to show it to you. And then I want to give you some opinions and what I feel about it and what I think most Persians feel about some of these things. And if you're Persian and you want to come online and you want to talk about it, feel free. Let me know. I'll bring you in on the live, and you can speak and say your piece. But we're going to get it. So what you're looking at on your screen right now, these are protests. These are happening in Iran as we speak. Let me turn the sound on, see if there's anything you could hear. So what's happening? Here's our chat. There we go. What's up, Nurse? What's up, Hans? Zachary, Jennifer, what's happening, guys? Good to see you guys. It's New Year's Eve, guys. Here we go. Happy New Year's Eve, guys. And let me know, guys, if I need to make the chat subscriber only. Because you know how it gets with the lefties in the chat. They go crazy. All right, so let's see, how's the sound on the video? Looks like it's okay. So, guys, I got my Topo Chico, and let's get this started. Let's talk about Iran. Let's talk about Iran and what's happening, guys. So, if you're not aware, they are protesting in Iran. They're going on, well, it's been more than 3 days, but today it's... Let me just keep that sound so you can hear me. That we are on more than 3 days now, but 3 major days of protest. Probably the biggest protest that I've seen or we've seen since the Islamic Republic of Iran, since the regime took over. There you go. I turned the sound down if that's better. Villigan says I can't hear you. What is going on, guys? Good to have you. So Jimmy says, are the people of Iran finally uprising? Yes. That's what it seems like to us. That's what it looks like. Just speaking to Iranians, to me, that's what it's what it sounds like, looks like. People that are there, people that are here. You're seeing they're going. We've never seen Persians actually fight back because they're getting shot at by the people that are running the government, and we've never seen them actually push back like this and have this many people in the streets at the same time in so many cities across the country. And as Charlie says, and Jones is saying, this is excellent news. Yes, this is very, very good news. This regime has been torturing the people that it's supposed to be governing, and it's been doing the opposite of all of the things that it promised to the people. It promised to bring peace. It promised to bring prosperity. It promised to bring free resources, just like any other kind of a socialism or socialist or communist type of a ideology promises. They promised all that when they came into power. Guys, this is Islam. It's the Islamic regime of Iran. The people in Iran, well, let's kind of go back a little bit. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of news on this, a little bit of update. Well, not news, but like kind of how this went down. Now, I'll preface this by saying I'm not a historian. I'm not, some kind of Persian specialist on Persian history, but I'll tell you what I think I know. And, at least that'll be, a little bit more than maybe now. Iran was being run by a king, Pahlavi. But in 1979, an Islamic regime took over power. How did that happen? Some people say America had something to do with overthrowing the Shah, the king of Iran. Some people say Britain did, or England, or there's all kinds of different things that have been said. There are some truths out there. However it happened, we're not exactly sure, but a lot of people say America had a hand in it, and they say there's different reasons for why they think America and England and other countries may have wanted to overthrow the Shah. One of those reasons is oil and a couple other things, or kind of trying to maybe have stronger power in the region because the Shah was kind of maybe becoming too powerful, or whatever the case is. I don't know. What I do know is the people of Iran, let me update this chat here. Sorry, guys. What I do know is the people in Iran leading up to the change of power from the Shah to the Islamic regime of Iran, the people in Iran were becoming more woke. They were becoming more leftist. They were becoming more, pretty much, they got, kind of won over, by this kind of socialist type of ideology. They actually had it pretty well in that country. It was a very prosperous country. In every country, there's differences between the lowest income and the highest income. And it wasn't honestly very much different than any other country that was a Western civilization. At the time, Iran was very westernized. It was actually one of the most Western countries, right there up with the United States and the other Western countries in Europe. Now, for whatever reason, the people of Iran were getting like won over by this socialist mentality, and they were loving the idea that they could have free resources, free, I think, utilities, free gas, free water, free this, that, and the other. I don't know exactly what. We can get into it and look it up exactly and go through it, but they were promised all of these things. They were promised some type of equality, okay? Equality where there won't be some people making more money than others, and this whole capitalistic ideology, they wanted to wipe that out. And they wanted to force the hand. They wanted the government to be more involved. People thought if the government controls everything and government forces equality, we will all be equally prosperous. That's what they thought. And they joined in with the overthrow with the overthrow of the Shah. And they basically all got together and helped overthrow the Shah at that time. 1979 is when the Islamic regime took power of the country and became the government of the country. Okay? I'm going to switch this video so while I'm talking, you can see what else is going on here. So these are more videos right here. And what happened when the Islamic regime took power? They forced Islam on the entire country. They thought they knew how to run a country. They thought socialism would work. They thought that they can, well, we don't really know exactly what they thought, but the people thought they would do good and they would do better than the Shah. 47 years later has proven they have not. And we're at the point now where I'm going to pull up, I'll see if I can get some of these videos that can show more detail of what's going on. But people thought the people of Iran, even the people themselves, not all of them, but a lot of them, thought that they could basically live a better life under socialist type of ideology and under Islam, under a religion. And Islam, of all religions. And I'm going to, before I go any further, I'm going to talk about Islam a little bit because this is important. If you don't know Iran, if you don't know Persian people, If you don't know the history of Persians, Persians were never Muslim. Persians were never Islamic. They were never Muslim. Never. Until the Arabs conquered the Persian Empire and forced Islam, or else. You either become Islamic and Muslim or else. And that's what happened. And the Arabs forced it on Persians. None of the Persians wanted Islam. Persians were Zoroastrian. Persians were anything but Islam. Okay. I just got back from the gym where I was sitting down in the sauna, and there was a group of Persian men who were Christian. And we talked about this, and they said, F Islam. We hate Islam. And that's a very common sentiment with Persians. Why? Because Islam has forever ruined Persians' lives, Persian people's lives. It has destroyed Persians' way of life, traditions, their lives, almost in every single way. And we can go over it. You can ask me questions. We're open. I got your chats up here. I'm kind of just going on a little monologue here. I'm happy to, answer any questions, but Islam has destroyed the lives of Persians. It has destroyed them. It has destroyed all of it. It has in almost every way. And when they ran the country as an Islamic state, they shit on the country and they took the country back. Some people say 400 years, 500 years. Some people say 2,000 years. But it has destroyed the country. It destroyed the people. And it's been a complete disaster. And that's why lots of Persians share that sentiment. They hate Islam with passion because they have been, Islam has been holding down their throats, putting their foot on people's throats for the last 47 years. And the people, they're not happy with that. And it's been a major issue, major problem. And that's why, if you guys know of any Persians, any Persians that are here, that anywhere, if you know any Persians that have left Iran, you are very, very, very hard pressed to find one that's Muslim. And if you do, wow, those people are very, very mentally captured. And they've just gone with it's been generations of Islam in their families, and they don't know how to that's just their way of life. And I have some people in the chat saying, I'm looking at this person. Joseph says the problem is not Islam, it's the government. Well, try explaining that to Persians that have gotten crushed. They will tell you, I think it's both the government and Islam. And yes, some people will say that the government is using Islam to do what it's doing. But a lot of people will argue that Islam itself has just been a disaster for the people of Iran. Okay? So there's that. There is the distinguishment between Persians and Muslims and, Arabs and Persians. Persians are not Arabs. They're like a completely different race, a completely different biology. They're just completely different people. Okay? Persians are in some, if you look into history, you could see that Persians are somehow related to Germans. And Persians and Germans were the same people at some point, and they split, and some went to become Iran and some went to become Germany or the Persian Empire. And there's different things, but they were never the same people as Arabs, unless you go as far back as the beginning of mankind. But, speaking to today's times, Arabs and Muslims are completely different. And Arabs are very much happy with Islam, and Arabs are very much excited about Islam, and they very much subscribe to Islam and what the book says. Persians are being forced to like Islam. They're being forced to be Islamic. So it's very different. There's a distinguishment, and you guys should know that. It's a big difference. Yeah. So it's just there's a very you should know that. Now, what has happened since 1979, when the Islamic regime has taken over? What have they done? They have not done anything that they promised as far as giving people free resources or free utilities and free anything. If anything, they have destroyed the value of the Persian dollar, which is what they call riyals in Iran. They're called riyals or toman. They have destroyed the value of it. So there was, I'm not even going to try to pull it up. We're just going to say that the inflation is so high right now in Iran. Inflation is so high. And that's why in America, we talk about inflation. We said under Biden, there was the highest inflation. It was 9% under Biden, which was insane. That was the highest it's been since the last almost 50 years. And then now it's down to 2.5%. In Iran is so bad that right now they literally on a box of tissues, you could use an actual, you'd be better off using a Persian rial paper or some kind of, I don't know, whatever the paper, the lowest denomination of paper money in Iran, you could use that instead of actual tissue paper because it's worth less than one single pull of one tissue paper out of a tissue box. That's how bad it is right now in Iran. You could literally use that instead of tissue paper. So that's one thing. That's a couple things. They let inflation go crazy because they don't know how to, socialism, communism, Islam, none of these things are a way to run a country. None of these things are good ideologies to operate a country or to run a country. None of them. None of them. So because that doesn't work, they destroyed the whole country. The country's gone back in time. The country has not prospered. People have multiple jobs. People have PhDs in Iran. They can't make money. They can't make money. So it's at the point where right now, again, the inflation is so bad. And let me change this for you so you can see something else on the screen there. We'll go back to this. Inflation is so bad. We're going to get to Israel in a second, by the way. We're going to talk about Israel because that's really important. Inflation is so bad in Iran that people can't afford water. They can't afford gas. They can't afford anything right now. It's completely screwed. It's completely done. It's so bad that people are literally, as you're seeing on the screen above, people are literally willing to go out in the street and risk getting killed by the Islamic regime. Because actually, they don't have another option. They literally push the people to the point where they actually can't even operate. People cannot save any more. People cannot budget any tighter. It's all the way to the end. It's done. It's done. It's finished. People on Instagram says, my dear friend left Iran under Khomeini. Yeah, lots of people left under that regime, bro. Lots of people. I got lucky. My parents left Iran before the change of the regime. And, I think maybe my grandparents, they kind of knew better. So they're like, dude, get out of here. This place is crazy. So anyway, so the money's worthless. People cannot afford anything. It's at a point where they're in the streets. They're willing to get killed to figure out a new way of life. That's what it is. So right now, it's not a great situation for the people that are living in Iran. And we all know, as I'm a descendant of Persians. I'm a product of Persian immigrants. We all know that things have to get a little worse before they can get better. Persians have tried. Everyone has tried to help change this regime. Nothing has happened. Nothing, everything, every which way of peaceful protest have ended up in the government of Iran killing its own people, putting them in jail for life, disappearing people, doing all the craziest things where, in some horrible third world country that you guys get the point there. It's just a complete disaster. So now we have protests where people unfortunately have gotten hurt, and but it looks like this is the only way possibly that it's going to happen. So there is a level of hope right now. But there's always been hope in all of these protests. Everyone knows Mahsa Amini, who was a woman that got killed for showing a little bit too much hair during a protest. And so, what's that? Oh, I guess not during a protest. She was just walking around and she showed too much hair. Yeah. Yeah, and she got killed. So there's that. And now it's at a point where things are spilling out into the streets. People don't have anything to do anymore. They're at their wits' end, and now they're in the streets. Now they're taking their country back. And more power to them. And I really do hope that this is the time that actually, they are able to take the country back. Iran has been under this nightmare of a government for 47 years. It's destroyed not only all the things I talked about, but the mentality. They talk about, what do people have? People have their property, people have the things that they earn, but more importantly, they have their mentality, right? And that's something that this government has destroyed. It's destroyed like 2 generations of Persians' minds. It's driven their minds into the ground. And now hopefully it's time for that to change. Persians around the world are hopeful. I hear this from a lot, obviously, because of what I do, I hear a lot about a lot from a lot of people, and people are hopeful. People are very, very, very hopeful. And to me, based on everything I'm hearing from people and what I'm seeing, it seems like now may be the time. This may be the time that the country is finally going to be taken back. And they're calling for the Shah's son. They call him the prince, right? Prince Pahlavi, to come back and help the country and take over the country. And I'm going to play some clips so you can see what I'm talking about. But I want to say this also about Pahlavi, the prince. He's talked a lot about a revolution. He's always wanted to have a revolution. He's always discussed it. He has never gone out hardcore forcefully to kind of do something about it, which is a criticism that people have of him. And I'm not as involved, or I don't know enough about his moves and what he's done and all that kind of stuff to know or to say one way or another. But what I will say is that during an interview or two he's done with PBD, Patrick Bet-David, he seemed to be a little bit, more on the kind of softer side. Want more kind of stand off, not so standoffish, but kind of stand back and see how it plays out, but also kind of say some things and kind of guide people in some way, but let them kind of do it from afar. How much of that is true and how much am I correct? Do I know what I'm talking about? I think a little bit, but again, I'm just going to say I don't know exactly what's up because I'm not into that deep. Now, what I will say is this about the Shah's son, the Prince Pahlavi. I will say that he has, when asked, he has said that he will not or does not want to be the king of Iran. If such a revolution comes about, he doesn't want to be the ruler, the president, the Shah, anything like that. He said specifically multiple times that if such a thing happens, he wants to take the position of a kind of intermediary, kind of liaison, someone that communicates with the people and helps a transition take place to go from this radical, lunatic Islamic regime to some type of a new government. He wants to facilitate a transition, and that's what he said. Okay, and that's a position to take. I think a lot of people want him to take a stronger position. How capable is he? What's his capacity to take a stronger position? I don't know. Personally, I haven't watched him, heard him, and listened to him enough to know. And I can say that he, a lot of people want him to take a more powerful position. Does he have the capacity? It's to be determined, in my opinion. I have someone in the chat. Let me see. Someone says, forget Iran. Someone says, America first. Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely for America first. Someone here says, he can wait another 50 years. What does that mean? Feel free to explain yourself. Feel free to explain. And then we're going to talk about Israel. I'm going to talk about Israel in a second. Where is this guy? Here he is. Hani Husseini. He's saying he can wait another 50 years. What does that mean? Feel free to explain yourself, Hani Husseini. Someone here on Instagram says Iran military must turn on the country's leadership. Iranian military must turn on the country. Oh, they're saying in Instagram, someone is saying that the military of Iran needs to turn against its own government for that to happen. Yeah, we'll see. A lot of people are waiting for that moment. But a criticism that I have of Iran and the Persians that are living in Iran is that there have been multiple times when they had chances to stand up and they didn't. They were scared to stand up. And I understand why. And of course, who am I from Southern California to come and tell you how or what you should be doing? Completely get it. I'm American. You're Persian. You've been living there. Who am I? I get it. But from what we've been seeing, we saw many, many times when there was times to go and rise up and actually, like this person in the chat is saying, we saw the military, some of the military and the police on the ground saying that, or basically turning on the government, and they were giving up, they were ready to let the people take over, and the people went on vacation. They went to Shomal and they went and who knows what they were doing. They're hanging out. They just fled. So that's a slight criticism that I have. And it's not because I'm scared to say it. It's just because I don't, again, I always preface a lot of this by saying I don't know enough on some of these things. Okay? So now let's talk about Israel. Let's talk about Israel. So this guy has no guts. This guy says, he responded. He says, you know exactly what I'm talking about, Mr. Paid Actor. Mr. Paid Actor, what are you talking about? you're smoking too much teriyaki, bro. You need to chill out. And I don't know what you're talking about. Are you paid by the Islamic regime, bro? Is that what you are? Are you a puppet of the Islamic regime? So I don't know who you think you are, but you sound like a complete loser and a retard, to be honest. So there's that. Now I'm going to show you guys this thing here. So take a look at this. Now I know a lot of people have a lot of different ways they feel about Israel. Okay? I know that. We all know that. Everyone is on this thing of screw Israel and I hate Israel and I hate this and I hate that and all that kind of stuff. But there are some things that you should know. Some very basic, simple facts. And I'm not here to back up Israel. I'm not Jewish. I don't come from a Jewish family. I'm not, if anything, my great grandmother was practicing Islam. So I'm not Jewish in any sense. And I'm not paid by anyone. Guys, I make no money off of this. If I make anything, it's, I don't know, peanuts. I have multiple businesses that I operate, which allow me to do this thing that I do. Okay, so I don't make any money. Of course, I'm gonna have losers in my chat talking about me being a paid actor and this guy's owned by Israel and this guy's this and this guy's that. None of it's true. And I'm America first. And I kind of like Nick Fuentes, America first. But I would say, and I actually, someone says it's time for subscriber only chat. Should I do it? Okay, let's do that. Let's go to subscriber only. Let's go to subscriber only because these guys are just people don't know how to handle it. So let them subscribe if they want to talk. Here we go. Okay, so we're back. We're in subscriber only mode, and here we go. Now, I am America first. I represent America, just like my hat says. And if you want to buy these hats, by the way, you can go to my site, repamerica.com. And I have a couple different colors. I got these two colors behind me. And, the MAGA colors. I really love the navy blue with the red. But I am America first. 100% America first. And if you saw my last live stream, you would understand that, or any of my live streams for the past, I don't know how long, you can go back and check them out. I'm not paid by Israel. I'm not a whatever kind of a thing you want to call me or some whatever it is you guys are talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not paid by anybody. But I will say this. Being a descendant of Persians, knowing a lot of Persians, both born in America and immigrants that came from Iran, visiting the country, being a person that has visited that country 3 times, and each time I visited, I spent 1 month or more in the country, in Iran. I've seen, okay? I know for a fact, and I've seen also in Iran, they have been saying death to America and death to Israel ever since this Islamic regime has taken power in 1979 up until today. Okay? Not only that, they do all sorts of crazy, they do crazy things, dumbass shit, bro. It's like stupid shit. Like these idiots in Iran, the government is who I'm talking about. The government in Iran literally puts American flags and Israeli flags on the floor on entrances for students when they go into schools so that they walk on the flag of America like they're stepping on the American flag, like they're stepping on America, like they're stepping on us and Israel. Okay? It's no surprise it's no surprise that Israel has a problem with that. America used to have a problem with that. But then America got soft. America became woke. America said, oh yeah, please come, let Islam take advantage of me. America said, oh no, everyone's equal and everyone's perfect and no, let's not do anything and all this kind of stuff. Okay. Israel, though, wasn't able to do that because they had to deal with the Islamic regime of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran that was wishing for their death and doing everything they could to destabilize that part of the world. And the Islamic regime of Iran is like a mob boss paying everyone to do its dirty deeds against Western countries, specifically Israel and America. So, if you aren't aware of that, and if you're in some la land, and if you're in some kind of fantasy world, and if you're in some kind of, I don't know, a fantasy world, then then now at least you've heard it. And if you don't believe it, that's on you. You can research it. I'm not going to make you go do homework if you don't want to do it. But if you really give a shit, you can look it up. Okay? Let's just put it that way. And ever since, let me just put another thing to you. Ever since Iran changed government in 1979 and became the Islamic regime of Iran, it made that area of Earth, the Middle East, way more unstable. When the Shah was in power in Iran prior to the Islamic regime, Iran was like one of the top 3 world powers, which is why some people say America and some other countries wanted them to be gone. Now, again, I don't know the details, and I didn't dive into that, and we can go into that another day. But when the Shah was removed, one of the top world powers that was holding it down, that it was the so-called glue in the Middle East, was gone. And it got replaced by a destabilizing government. When I say destabilizing, it's exactly what I said. They went through and paid everyone to do everything. They set up military camps. They trained countries. They went crazy. And they went as far as South America. From what I understand, Iran is still funding places in South America where they train troops and fucking make people fucking Islamified and make them crazy to go against any Western country. And by the way, they love socialism. So it's to someone that is like that knows about Iran and some of this stuff and socialism and Islam and all this kind of stuff, to people like that, like me, it's no surprise that this woke thing and this kind of this love for Islam among the woke people in our country, and this whole thing of this love for Islam and this love for socialism came about. It's not like something, that was a big surprise to anybody. That is paying attention to this shit. Because they all go hand in hand. But going back to Israel, Iran, ever since they changed hands in 1979, they had the craziest beef with Israel and America. Why? Because they were the spearheads of Western civilization. And Iran doesn't want that to happen. Iran wants to crush America and Israel. More so, the Islamic Republic, the Islamic regime has been calling for the death of Americans and Israel and Jews, and to obliterate the countries and get rid of the countries, and I don't know, convert them to Islam or just get rid of them altogether. Now, again, going back to Israel. So now you understand. Maybe you don't, and I don't really care. You can figure it out on your own. Again, it is what it is. I'm just going to speak my piece, and you can figure out what you want to do on your own. So, because Israel has been forced to deal with this crazy Islamic regime, they have animosity. They're pissed. They want it to stop. They want it to stop. And they've been trying to get it to stop, but it won't stop. It hasn't stopped. And Iran keeps pushing more and more and more and more. And you guys can think whatever you want about Israel. You guys may have facts. You may not have facts. You may just think what you think because you heard someone say something. I don't really care. But there is a saying. It says, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Okay? And right now, you should understand, a lot of Persians, even if they're not Jewish, even if they're not Israeli Persians, a lot of Persians are okay with Israel helping the Persian people to get rid of their tyrannical government that is destroying their lives. Yeah, and I'm one of them. I'm okay with that. You can call me a this and that, a paid actor, you can call me whatever you want. It's not true. But the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't think any which way of Israel. I think Israel, just like any other country, has a right to live peacefully. Outside of that, I don't really know enough, and I'm not going to act like I do. And I haven't stuck my nose into it. I'm focused on America, and I don't really care what the hell else is going on. But I will say that when it comes to Iran and what's happening right now with the protesting and all that kind of stuff, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And if Israel is going to help the Persian people get their country back, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. By all means. And if Trump is down to help, I'm all for it. Now, here is an argument for the other side, and I'm going to present it. Devil's advocate. I thought you're America first. And if you're America first, then why would you want Donald Trump to do something? You know why? Because I think it's in America's best interest to have a new government in Iran, to have a different government in Iran that is not so hostile. I think it's in America's best interest to have, to get rid of, let's just say, to help the people. Let's just put it this way. I think it's in America's best interest to help the people of Iran get rid of their tyrannical government. Because Iran is the most destabilizing piece of the puzzle in that region. Is the most destabilizing country in that region. Most destabilizing government in that region. And without the Islamic regime, if the Islamic regime of Iran is gone and Iran becomes some kind of a republic, actual democracy, or have some kind of a constitutional republic like what we are in America, or anything, honestly. I don't even, dude, let it be run by a dictator or anything other than an Islamic regime. Flat out. And I think that's to the benefit. I think that will benefit all of us. You guys, are you guys aware? Do you guys know that Iran, the Islamic regime of Iran, still has a hit out for Donald Trump? Are you guys aware of that? Did you know they've had that out for years? Did you know that the Islamic regime of Iran has put out a hit on Donald Trump for years and it's still current? So, as I said, it's to our benefit. It's to our benefit. The Islamic regime has had a hit. See you guys in the chat, but Islamic regime has had a hit out on Donald Trump and many, 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 many other people, and they still do, and they still have gone after people, and they still have done horrible things. Look at Salman Rushdie. That's just a simple case you can look up. It's just very easy. Just easily just look it up, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's called a fatwa. And the Islamic regime is the originator and the executor of fatwas. They send people out to go kill people that they don't like. So I wanted to come out and do a quick thing. I think there's more that I wanted to talk about. I think there's more I wanted to talk about, but I'm kind of a little. So I talked about Islam. Persians are not Muslim. They never were. The only Persians that are Muslim, they were the ones that are forced, and the ones that are still Muslim, even after they leave the country, they're very few. If you think about any Persians, none of them are Muslim. None of them. And if there are, it's just generations of them getting it beat into their head. And they don't know any better. They believe this religion of, I don't know, being okay with killing Christians and killing anyone that's not Muslim and killing gay people and killing and demoralizing women and not letting women go to college and destroying women, all this other stuff, and running a country like that. It makes zero sense to me. But I have the right to have my own opinion. And I have seen Islam up close and personal. I'm not a fan. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to have that. And you can think however you want to think, and I don't care. I really don't care. I could care less. But one thing I do care about is America. And I'm not just going to be some guy that complains or talks. I'm not that kind, or just points out problems. I'll talk about solutions. One of my solutions for America, what I think would be one of the biggest, and I've said this not just because of this Somali fraud thing, but you can go back to all of my live streams that I've done. You can look at all my videos and see. One of the biggest solutions that I advocate for is for either eliminating or massively reducing welfare programs in our country. And I think if we did that, it will erase 80 to 90% of our problems. Okay? And the way it does that, the biggest part of that, well, there's obviously, think about it, we actually wouldn't have had this Somali fraud if we didn't have welfare programs, first of all. Second of all, we wouldn't have people dependent on welfare, and they have to actually finally get up and go out and be responsible and do something about their lives. But it would change their mindsets. It would change people's mindset. So they don't think of, I have this crutch to land on and I have this thing that I'm always going to be able to take money from the government, and government will pay me to have housing, government pay me to give me food, government will give me free healthcare. As long as the other people will pay for it, I'm going to be good. Get rid of that mentality. Screw that. You remove the welfare programs, you change people's mentality, and they grow up knowing, damn, when I become of age, I need to do stuff with my life. I need to be responsible for myself. And when I look at other people starting businesses and doing the hard work and making money, I don't look at them as evil people. That's the mind shift that I think we need in our country. And that's the type of solutions I advocate for. Jacqueline says, or just have a limited time. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to get to my solution. Reduce the amount of time people can be on welfare. Some of the programs can be gone altogether, because there's all sorts of welfare programs. So some you can just abolish, some you can reduce down to nothing, some you could reduce the time frame that people are allowed to use them. There's a lot of ways to do that. But I think by and large, one of the best solutions for our country is removing welfare programs and removing welfare altogether, or reducing it. Okay, so there's that. So I'm America first, and I always will be, and I've been focusing on this a lot and on America. But now that I'm seeing what's happening with Iran and this whole Persian uprising against the tyrannical government and what's happening right now, it's got me thinking that, hey, maybe now's the time that Persians will take their country back, and they will hopefully get rid of this disaster of a government that they have. Okay. And I think that if Israel is willing to help, you guys may not understand it, but the people in Iran would be way better off with a different government that's not destroying their lives. And anybody's help is welcome. Okay. Whether it's Netanyahu or Trump or whoever, I don't know. Whatever the case is, I'm down. If they can help, by all means, help. And doing something like that, I think, will, as I said before, I know I'm repeating myself, but if you're just coming on the stream, that's, I don't want you to hear it. I believe that getting rid of, or helping the Persian people get rid of their government themselves, not us removing their government, helping the Persian people in their country get rid of their tyrannical government, would benefit America. They want death to America. They want death to Americans. They want death to Donald Trump. They want, and if you don't like Trump, it's okay. It's all good. It's not about that. It's just about an American president. It could be your next favorite president, and they could want death to that person. But I mean, let's be honest. A lot of these Democratic nominees that we see, are Democratic leaders these days, are Islam lovers and socialist lovers. So I don't know. Maybe they'll fall in love. Maybe they're funding these Democrats. Maybe Iran is actually funding these Democrats. I don't know. That's a possibility. But I think I said my piece. I said enough for now. I think we have an understanding of each other. And let's read this, finally read this message that's on the screen. Mossad sends a message to the Iranian people on X. Let us gather in the streets. The moment has come. We are with you, not only from afar and in words, we are also with you on the ground. That's pretty interesting. And I am happy to have Israel's help if it means a better future for the people of Iran. I'm happy to have America's help, and I'm happy as an American if we help the Persian people in achieving their goal of overthrowing their own government. I believe it does benefit America. I believe a stable Iran is a stable Middle East. I believe an Iran without the regime that's running the country right now will be more peace for America and Americans. And with that, I'm going to put in our outro video, and I will see you guys on the next live stream.